with Gene Decode once again. One of my personal favorites. Gene. So here we are in the stage of the game with protests and looks like anarchy, just lawlessness in Portland and Chicago. Trump is bringing in the troops. Government shutdown. Democrats don't want to agree to anything. Where are we in the stage of the game right now? And do Portland and Chicago have anything to do with underground tunneling systems to where Antifa can move freely there without being detected? Go ahead, take it away.
Of course, the dumb that goes from up in the state out through Chicago Bay, yeah, out through Chicago Harbor into the Great Lakes, that's been completely under control of the Alliance for a very long time.
Okay.
So they have no access to that in Chicago, and the same is true for Portland. That that's a harbor too. There's harbors there, and you know that area of Oregon, and that go up under the state and go all the way across the country, and those are under control of the Alliance too. So most of the over 80% of the dumps nationwide and even worldwide are now under the Alliance control.
Well, we had to fight the tunnel wars. What, the last 10 years is what's been going on, or how long has it been going on to where everything we're seeing now happen on the surface is all because we've got that under control, correct? I mean, how long were we at war in these tunnel wars? I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
So it began in earnest and really serious in Trump's first term.
okay.
Uh, and he gave $500 million. If you may remember, in my early decode, I did a expose, and I showed that there was $500 million given to the military to develop underground warfare,
Well, I
and they
remember that. I remember that.
and that's when it started heavily. However, and I thought that's when it just started. But I've recently learned that it's been going on for 50 years between the alliance and the cabal. So not at that kind of serious level. So the cabal was always making them faster and more tunnels fast, making dumps faster and more tunnels faster than the alliance was taking them up until that time. It's like what we see now on the surface too, with the military cleaning up the military, with him calling in the military a command to summons for
Yes.
all of the military generals to go in, and Hegseth talked to him first in public. That's the cover story, and then in private. And he said, anybody that doesn't like what I just said can retire now, or you and a whole lot of them, you don't need to retire. The following people, the following commanders, lieutenants, etc., stand up, and you'll be marched out in
In other
cuffs.
words, show yourself as a traitor.
Yeah, he
And
he
and
read
did it
off
did it
a
happen?
series of names. He read off a series of names like you interviewed Sheila Holm, and she
Yes.
gave you some of those names and that command to order to meet, and the letter that went with it, that was for real. And
So
the,
he smoked out these traitors, not in public, but when the cameras were off,
yes,
and read out their names. They had to stand up and then what? Be dismissed.
they military police, I guess you call it, that MPs, is
MP,
what we
right?
call them in the Navy, military police came in, they turned around, they're cuffed and they're marched out, and they're flown to Gitmo or Iceland, I mean
From
Greenland.
what?
Yes, sir,
That happened.
that happened. Millie was the first on the list, as you know.
Yeah, but I mean, has Millie already been taken in
Yes,
before this or during that was he there at that
he was
conference?
handcuffed and marched out. I don't know if he's going to be put on house arrest or taken directly to Gitmo or up into Greenland or something. It depends on a case by case basis until they go to their court martial.
And you're getting this from your intel, Gene?
Yep.
This is I mean, I would not doubt this. This does sound logical to me, like they would do this. So the generals, especially if you're being summoned like that, a lot of them had to be like, "Uh-oh, I'm in trouble," right?
Oh yeah, same thing. When I was on the ship, in submarines, you if you got asked to go to see the captain, that's one thing. Your department head or somebody would come to tell you, or the XO executive officer, the captain would like to see you. But the other option is the captain wants you in his stateroom now. Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, I
Then you
mean,
go, your heart sinks to your feet. You're like, uh-oh, what did I do?
right, you're in
So,
trouble.
yeah, when you get, that's a summons. When you get a summons, that's not good. And
So
even worse, if you say the captain is waiting for you in the wardroom with a few other officers to see you now, then you're like, either you're going to give some kind of presentation. He's going to ask you what's going on in with your situation and what all the people you command underneath you, or you're in trouble.
So when the military police escorted these men out of the room and put them in the vehicle, left, you're saying they were sent to Gitmo or somewhere else, and what happens then? Do they get executed? Do they get just? Are they told just? I mean, are they told to go to? Are they taken to Gitmo? Are they retiring? I mean, do we know? Do you know where? What
They'll go,
happened? What was their demise, or what's going on here?
yeah, as that document that Sheila read to you, they under the UCMJ, they go to court martial. They're taken to
Wow.
court martial. And depending on the results of the court martial, it can be, if it's treason or sedition, both of those are a death offense. I mean, that's not playing around. You're
No,
sedition and you're under the military, you're in the military and you're under oath to protect the Constitution in the United States and you violated that oath, you're done.
I would imagine Trump would absolutely do that to show to make examples of those men to and scare the shit out of the other generals. Like we're
Absolutely.
not playing. I would say that's a card he would play. I would say he would do that. I don't think Trump would mess around. I
Nope.
think he wouldn't ask anybody to leave. I think he'd use them as an example, arrest them, take them out, and then yeah, probably execute them. I would bet that's something he'd do. Do you have intel on that? Is that what happened? Do you know?
Well, that's what is in line to happen
Jeez.
because that's just recent. That's September 30th. It's in progress right now. I don't know what the tribunals, the court martials, are what their results are at this time. They're in progress, lots of them, because of those 500 that were there were quite a few of those that were taken out.
I would
And
imagine, yeah, more than a few dozen.
and then there's the other option is, depending on their position within the deep state, so to speak, within the cabal, what kind of asset are they? What kind of information, if they rolled, would they give? Tactical information. So you will, they might be given an offer. You can avoid a death sentence or you can avoid XYZ sentence because you have valuable intel. And if that intel pans out, you'll be given some breaks. If it doesn't pan out, the sentence already commuted, uh, through the tribunal will be enacted. So I'm sure that's on the table too, going on.
So we don't have an exact number of how many generals were
Down at
court-martialed out.
this, because it's in progress right now, and it's all being taped. And later on, for the normies, the blue pillars type, they will seem to be coming out live, and they'll show the tribunals probably Millie first, and then that pretty much just like the list Sheila Holmes showed you, it'll go right in order, right down because they put that's military. The most important first, the first one up the list goes. That's the first one in the line. The next one is the next one, and on down the list. So yeah, and of course they have many, 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 many JAG, officers and judges and in court, ready to preside already because they've increased the size of the YMCA down there. That used to be the YCMA in Cuba. That's why it plays the
So,
YMCA all
so
the time.
wow. So these guys were kind of set into a trap. They were summoned to this conference with Pete Hegseth, and a lot of them were. You're telling me a lot of them were court-martialed out of there as traitors.
They were taken out of there to go to court martial. Yes.
Wow. That's huge news. I mean, but that makes sense to me, Gene. I mean, that would be logical, to be quite honest with you. I'm sure my audience thinks the same thing. Um,
I think anybody with a military career or a medium amount of military experience knows that when you're caught with your pants down, as we say in the military. You're done. You go to in front of the captain, or you go in front, as a captain's mast. But when you're in port, if you're going to court martial, you're taken off the ship in cuffs, and
Right.
the chances are you're going anywhere but Leavenworth or something worse is almost zero.
You
I
know,
have been to a to a situation in which, when I was running the range in Puerto Rico, I a submarine demanded weapons free to fire its torpedo, and I said, "You negative, weapons tight," and they fired anyway.